Great morning, everyone. Now, I've been listening to some of Bashar's, the channeling things that are coming through Bashar. And what I found is that it's the same knowing basically that's here. Now today I listened to one, and I've explained this in my books before. They have it backwards. They think that the brain creates thoughts and stuff. Well, he was talking about, somebody was asking about thoughts, okay? Yes, you have the thoughts when you're in physical form. For most people, I'll preface that way, that they have these revolving thoughts, etc. But the person was asking about when one leaves the physical form, do you have the same types of thoughts? And he was explaining, no, you have more of a knowing. It's not the physical aspect of thoughts like you have now here in the physicality of form. And yes, when you go through realization and you transition to a still mind, okay? And I speak about this, I've spoken about this many times in my books, that you go into knowing, okay? It's a direct implant. It is not a thought process any longer that takes place. I don't have revolving thoughts. The mind is still. So it's a different thing that happens. And again, when you go through that transition, all of the thoughts that you had, your soap opera drama, which makes up your PTSD, depression, all of that stuff, it's gone, as if it never happened. All that baggage is left at the train station, so to speak. You get on the train, you leave the baggage at the station. You're not dragging it with you any longer, okay? So it's a totally different way of being, okay? So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. I haven't heard anything from Bashar, which I don't know from firsthand to be absolutely true. Okay, with the exception, now I do need to make this exception as to different planetary populations and things, as to who is visiting this planet and for what reasons. Okay, I'm not privy to all of that. I have to say that. But as far as when he's speaking about consciousness, and he's speaking about bringing things into manifestation, and he's talking about those things, yes, 100%, it's correct. Okay? And you'll hear, if you listen to the things that I've said, the things I channel, etc., etc., although I really don't have to channel. But I don't know why people seem to like the channeling better than if you just speak from direct awareness, direct knowledge. And that's fine too. If you need to hear it from a different aspect than here, that's fine too. but it's the same information, basically. Oh my goodness. And again, all this stuff you'll find in my books about the mind and about emotion and how that creates a storyline and how that makes it feel that it's concrete, etc. All of this I have explained before in my books as to what happens, okay, and about being in the present moment versus reflecting on something and logically trying to deduce it, which then you're already in the past, okay? All of that type of stuff you can find in my books. I haven't gone into a lot of it on this channel because people have not really said they're interested in it, the deeper spiritual things, okay? But I have gone through, and you can go through some of the spiritual things where I talk about, you know, Christ and what he came to do, and you know, the difference between religiosity versus spirituality, and what happens as one goes through the process and enters realization, which is just entering the real world, the real, okay, that's all. Realization is that. Enlightenment means that you become woke. You've woken up out of the dream. You see reality as it is, and one has gone out of the soap opera, out of the movie, if you want to say, into, you know, the movie parts that one plays, into more understanding of what's underneath of it all, where it all stems from, and how things work in this planet, okay? So if you are interested in those things, now one of my students is creating, I think he's creating going to put together a website where he takes all of the channel things that I have put out there and is going to put them in the form where you can go through and read it, where you can read all of that, if one is so interested. So when that is completed, I'll let you know. Who knows, maybe he will put some things out in book form with that as well. We'll see. So I'll let you know. As we go through these things. You know, I'm happy to do the channeling and doing the higher perspective messages, etc. I would much rather do that than political drama, I have to say. Something higher elevation versus the political drama. But if doing the political drama helps to keep people stabilized, then okay, I'm happy to do that as well. But there is more to life than this political drama that we find ourselves in now, this transition time. And, you know, through this transition time, we are seeing, like I told my students 10 years ago or more, about this division that was coming up, this dividing of the light versus the dark, that there will come that division time. And the dark does not understand the light, okay? So the more light that comes in, the dark cannot stand it. It will become more and more erratic, more and more like you see happening with Trump. or you see the MAGA people acting out because they are so irritated by the light, they cannot absorb it, they can't understand it, they can't accept it. They want to have their darker elements to be elevated. They want their dark elements of anger, and they keep, the darker elements play to fear, anger, disappointment, all of the negatives, and that's what they feed on, okay? And they don't understand that they can come out of that into a much better, much happier existence. It's possible for them to come out of it, but they are trapped by their own insecurities and drama and storyline of wanting to project it onto somebody else rather than taking the step to look inwards and see what is causing their angst and their anxiety and their drama. They want to project it and make it about somebody else is doing this to them, and them not willing to go within and peel away the layers of the onion to get to the center point of truth, which they could then be released from. But they have to be able to develop compassion and empathy, etc. And at this point, they'd rather project anger and angst and misery and draw everybody else into their misery rather than finding gratitude and happiness. Okay? It's kind of it in a nutshell. Okay? Oh my goodness. We are going to have rain here. The Oregon mountains over here are in the top of them are in the clouds, and it's getting darker and darker. So at first I was going to go to Roswell today, but it's a little late already to go to Roswell. So I'm just going to stay here in the area and go just up here by Oregon here real quick and just enjoy some of the rain, which is on its way. We have quite a few people out here today. Now this, if it rains really hard, this is not a road you want to be driving on because it's got all these dips and stuff. And so if it rained really hard, you could get some flooding through here. So this would not be the place. If it starts flooding, yeah, there's a sign. Road may flood. Indeed, it will. If it rains really hard out here, you will get flooding. Okay, so this is not the road you drive if you're having heavy rain out here.